Hello there, my name's Scott. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the GP Paps Luxe Edition version 2.5, which I received from www.vaporart.com. Before I start though, I must point out I did receive it free of charge for the purpose of conducting a review, but my opinion of products remains true, honest and accurate as always. Okay, let's go straight ahead and show you in a bit more detail. Okay, so the regular version of the GP Paps has a body which is made out of stainless steel, whereas on the Luxe Edition version 2.5 the body is made out of aluminium bronze. Now, for the benefit of any American viewers, I'll give you a quick bit of information regarding the word aluminium. Okay, so moving on then, like I said, the main body is made out of aluminium bronze, and according to the website, aluminium bronze is 4 times more expensive than 316 grade stainless steel, so that may explain why the Luxe Edition is a little bit more expensive than the regular GP Paps. Now, I've just given this a polish. It looks nice and shiny at the moment. For those people who do prefer more sort of patinaed look, if you don't clean it for a few weeks, then it will go to a nice little dark rich colour. The top cap has a 510 connection, so that means it's going to be compatible with all your 510 atomizers. And as you can see, you have these 4 air channels cut out, and this means you can use something like a cartomizer tank or the spheroid, etc, etc. Have them sitting completely flush on the end there, and you're still going to get plenty of airflow. And this is the top cap that comes as standard with the Paps, but if you want to have a completely flat one without the air channels, they are a optional extra. And it also has an adjustable centre pin, and I'll show you that in a bit more detail in a second. Towards the bottom end of the main body, you're going to find the GP Paps logo engraved on there, plus plenty of ventilation holes, so if you was very unfortunate and had a battery venting gases, and those gases do have a means to escape. Now, as standard, the Luxe Edition comes with an 18350 size tube, and only on those tubes we find the serial number. So if you did want to get the optional extra sort of 18500 or 18650 tubes, you won't get the serial number on it, but you will still get the GP Paps logo. And then finally, on the bottom, you're going to find probably one of the nicest switches to use at the moment. It's extremely easy to operate. You can press it right on the edge, it will fire up. You can press it right in the middle, it will fire up. And you know, I've not experienced any sort of misfires or anything like that whatsoever. And even though it is extremely easy to operate, you can still actually place it on your desk and it won't fire up the atomizer. And that's because you have these little 4 raised edges here. And I think these are only raised about 0.1 millimetre if I remember rightly, but that is still enough to actually stop the button from firing up, which is excellent. And again, if you want to carry it around in your pocket and you're worried about accidental activation, you still have a regular sort of lock on it as well. So once that's out, you can press it in whatsoever. Okay, so like I said, the standard top cap will come with these air slots cut out to allow for airflow. But if you did prefer to have a top cap that was completely flat, they are available on the site, but as an optional extra. And as an optional extra, it will obviously start to bump the price up a bit. All the contact points are made out of brass, which are then silver plated and then gold plated on top, so you're going to get really good conductivity. And the idea of the sort of double adjusting centre pin is to allow your atomizer to sit completely flush on the end, and then also allows you to eliminate gaps and battery rattle. So if I was going to attach an atomizer, I'll just unscrew this first, and take my atomizer, screw it all the way in so it's completely flush. And then from that point onwards, I can start to screw the adjustable centre pin in until I can feel a bit of resistance. When you feel that resistance, that means you've made a good contact with the centre pin of the atomizer. And then when it comes to actually attaching a top cap to the main body, from there you can start to adjust the outer pin here to eliminate gaps and battery rattle. Now, the outer pin here is quite thin, but you're also going to get included a slightly thicker version. Now, the thin one is specifically for the 18350 tubes, and the thicker version is for the 18500 or 18650 tubes. Okay, so here I have the main body, and there's not a great deal else I can tell you about it apart from what I've already sort of covered already, and that is you have your GP logo at the bottom here, plenty of ventilation holes, and your serial number. And it has really good quality threading. Everything screws together really nice and smoothly, and as far as I'm aware, these are what's known as 20x1 threading, which means that it should be compatible with some other devices that also have the 20x1 threading. Okay, so here's a slightly closer look at the switch. Once again, you have your brass contacts, which are then silver plated and then gold plated on top for that really good conductivity. Excellent quality threading. Very smooth and easy to use locking ring. At the moment it's locked. Now I can press a button, nothing's going to fire up. So if I was going to carry it around in my pocket, I haven't got to worry about sort of accidental activation. But when I want to have a vape, give it a spin and that's it, it'll now fire up again. And as you can see, the actual throw of the switch is really nice and short, so it takes hardly any effort to sort of complete the circuit and fire up your atomizer. And the actual tension of the spring, really nice and smooth, got no problems, no sort of grittiness to it whatsoever at all. Just a very sort of excellent, good quality switch. Okay, so to assemble the Paps, the first thing you're going to do is take the switch assembly and screw that into the base. Once the switch is in position, you can take your battery, and I'm going to be using an AW18350. This is my sort of preferred choice of battery. And you're just going to insert the flat end or the negative end in towards the switch. Now before you put on the top cap, you want to make sure that you install the atomizer first and get that all set up correctly. Then once the atomizer is installed, you can just screw it onto the main body. And then from there you can sort of make your adjustments to eliminate gaps and battery rattles. So at the moment I've got no gap there, but a bit of a battery rattle, so I'm just going to unscrew it again and then adjust the outer pin a little bit. It should probably be about enough there. Screw it back on and I've got no gap and no battery rattle. Okay, so that is the GP Paps Luxe Edition version 2.5. Let's go ahead, see what it vapes like. Okay, so that was the GP Paps Luxe Edition version 2.5, and what I'll do now is go ahead and show in action. So the battery came off the charger around 5 minutes ago, so it should still be a fully charged battery reading around 4.2 volts. I'm using my little spheroid, not too sure what the actual resistance of the coil is, but I'm going to guesstimate somewhere between 1.4 and 1.6 ohms, something like that. And it's been filled up with some 18mg strength tobacco flavoured e-liquid, just a PG e-liquid. Okay, so this is the Paps Luxe. And as you can see, like vape-wise, you're getting plenty of vapour, but just bear in mind that the amount of vapour production you're going to get, the flavour, the throat hit, etc., etc., it's not going to be really anything to do with the Paps as such. It's going to be down to what sort of atomizer or cartomizer you actually stuck on the end of it. But nevertheless, with the setup we've got here with the little spheroid, getting plenty of vapour. In terms of build quality, I mean, like the Paps is a very, very nicely made little mechanical mod. Even just like the regular GP Paps, which I purchased just before they sent out one of these to me. Fantastic little mechanical device, and I could really highly recommend it. But the Luxe, again, excellent build quality. All the threadings very nice and smooth. All the parts go together, you know, exactly how you would expect it to be from like a very nicely made and machined mechanical device. So in terms of build quality, you've got no qualms with it whatsoever. Only very, very minor sort of negative, and it's not really a negative as such, I suppose, but I suppose it is, I don't know, depends on what way you sort of look at it, but it's just more to do with the actual colour. I mean, like, this is the aluminium bronze, and it does look very, very nice, very sort of blingy looking, but it's kind of hard to sort of find an atomizer that really looks good on it. Me personally, I like to have things as matching as possible, whereas, you know, if I had like an aluminium bronze atomizer, obviously it'd make it look like more sort of complete, whereas all my sort of atomizers that I use tend to be the like stainless steel ones, and so it doesn't look quite sort of gelled together, if you see what I mean. You can't really get that sort of nice sort of proper hybrid look, but nevertheless, so looks wise it is a fantastic looking little device. Just needs to find a nice aluminium bronze atomizer to sort of really match it nicely, which is also 22mm. But like I said, it's a very minor little thing though. When it comes to battery life, obviously it's going to be it's going to be very different from one person to the next. Now, as standard, this comes with an 18350 size body. So you know, if you're limited on funds, you can only afford to just get the device on its own. You have to sort of make do with the 18350 batteries, which are, you know, quite small. I think this is 700 milliamp hour batteries. And you know, depending on how much of a heavy user you are, like you could make one last you all day, or you could be going through sort of 2 or 3 a day quite easily, depending on obviously how much of a heavy vapor you are. For me personally, I would prefer to have the option of choosing what size body you want sort of at checkout, rather than being sort of limited to the smaller body out the 3 even. And if you know, if I had my way, the standard size body would be the 18500 tube, and then make the 18350 or the 18650 the optional ones, because 18500, you know, you're getting that little bit better sort of battery life. It's not quite as limiting as the 18350s. And it also makes it a little bit nicer if you've got sort of big old hands like myself. But again, it's going to come down to personal preference. I know there's a lot of people out there, you know, who only ever use 18350 mods. So for them, you know, it's probably right up their street. But for me personally, you know, I think it would be good if you could have the choice of choosing what sort of size body you want at checkout, rather than being like an optional extra. Because if you're a person who only ever uses 18650 batteries or 18500, now you're shelling out for the mod, and then you've got to shell out extra money just so you can use it with the sort of batteries that you like personally. And obviously then it starts sort of bumping up the price a bit. But other than that, you know, can't really sort of complain really. Now, for me, one of the really nicest things about the not just the Paps Lux, but also the regular sort of GB Paps, it's got a fantastic switch as well. But the switch on the Lux really is a very, very good quality switch. It's so nice to use. It's pretty much effortless. It's almost like a touch sensor. You know, you can just about sort of tap it with your finger, and no matter where you place your finger on that button, you know, it's going to fire up every single time. The actual tension of the spring is just sort of perfect. Like I said, it's just effortless. You know, you haven't got to sort of hardly press on it at all, and it's going to fire up. In addition to that, you know, you have got these little tiny, these 4 little sort of tiny feet, I suppose you call them. So if you want to put it on your desk without actually sort of locking it off, you can put it down your desk, and those little tiny feet are going to actually prevent the button from getting pressed in and firing. And if you want to carry it around in your pocket, you know, just give that a spin. That's it. It's all locked off now. You can't press the button. You've got no chance of any sort of accidental activations when you're carrying it around in your pocket. And when you want to vape again, give it another spin, and that's it. Bob's your uncle, and you're vaping again. In the close-up shots, you know, I gave this 18350 tube a nice polish beforehand, and it does come up looking really, really nice. It really does. But I know a lot of people do tend to go for that sort of patinaed look, where it looks sort of a little bit grubby looking, I suppose, a little bit sort of tarnished, and that's why I sort of gave you a comparison with the 18500 tube. And hopefully you can see that there is quite a bit of difference there. I mean, I've seen some photos on the forums where people have been letting them patina. And bearing in mind, I've had the Lux now, must have had it for at least 2 months, something like that. And it's had a lot of use, both the 18350 tube as well as the 18500. So it's had a lot of contact with my hand. And that 18500 tube is still sort of relatively clean compared to some of the pictures I've seen on the forums. Like some of them, like the patina's got so bad, it's almost like turned it black, you know. And whether they've got particularly sort of greasy hands and all that, all those sort of oils have transferred onto it, which obviously speeds up the sort of patina process. I'm not too sure. Maybe my hands are just particularly dry. I don't know. But you can obviously, if you like that patina look, then it's definitely something you can achieve quite easily. You know, features wise, like I said, you know, I've already covered the switch. You know, you've got everything that you could want on there. Nice, easy to use switch. You've got the little feet so you can put it down on the table without it activating. You've got the actual proper full sort of locking mechanism if you're going to carry it around in your pocket. And the other nice feature is that you've got the sort of double adjusting centre pin, so you can get your atomizers to sit completely flush, and you can also get rid of the battery rattle on that as well. So I think that sort of pretty much covers it. I don't really think there's much more I can say about it, apart from it's a fantastic little mod. For me personally, I prefer to have the 18500 size tube as the sort of standard size tube, and they need to bring out a aluminium bronze atomizer to match it, and then it'll be a fantastic little sort of hybrid style mechanical mod. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you fancy trying one of these out for yourself, go along to www.vaporart.com, and also come along and check out my website at www.e-cig-reviews.com. That's e-cig-reviews.com. Cheers guys, happy vaping, see you later.